Welcome to In Between the Lines, where nothing is out of bounds, as adversity is an opportunity to adjust and overcome. Joe, we coming to closer towards the end of the football run, and we got to talk about that first game that was played. It was a blizzard. It was cold, to say the least, and it was football weather. Talking about the Patriots defeating the Denver Broncos. What was your thoughts in regards to that game?
Well, the weather starting off with it, you got to say something about the weather. And I heard Kurt Warner, the Hall of Fame quarterback, Kurt Warner, said that he didn't like it. He didn't like the fact that you want to have a deciding game to go to the Super Bowl, played in that type of weather where you really can't judge who's the better team. None of those guys would be able to practice in that weather and get acclimated to it or get used to it, so to speak. But there's no answer. I understand where he was coming from, but there's no answer. You're not going to play a championship game at a neutral site. It was just unfortunate that you either had to play in Denver, or if the Patriots were the number one seed in the AFC, you would have to play in New England. And they also had a blizzard or a storm that was coming that way. And that was something that we all dealt with in the Northeast, the East Coast, as far as the weather. So when you look at it, Vaughn, it is what it is. So it becomes situational football. And that's where I thought the Denver Broncos lost the game. When you talk about Sean Payton early in the football game, instead of going for 3 points or getting 3 points, he decided to go for it on 4th and 1, and that came up incomplete. And that was a chance for them to go up 10-0 in a game that we knew points were going to be at a premium. We knew that it was not going to be a high scoring game at that point. I think he's going to regret, or he did regret, as I was looking and seeing his remarks after the game, he regretted that he didn't necessarily go for that. And then when you're talking about Jared Stidham trying to make a heroic type play, take the sack, go down, and maybe throw the ball away. He tried to be a Superman, or he tried to do something out of his character, and basically gave the New England Patriots 6 points, 7 points. It ended up being. You just can't make that kind of mistake or those mistakes in a game that tight, a game that's going to be nip and tuck the whole entire game, especially in the fourth quarter and in the second half. So overall, I can't tell you if the best team won. But I can tell you that the best team on that day, as far as playing situational football, is the team that's moving on.
Uh, just my thoughts. I told you after the Broncos scored their first drive, even it was right before the drive. I say, I'd be surprised if I say the Broncos stand no chance. Now I knew their defense was tough, but I think the best team won. Now if Bo Nix is starting on that team on the Broncos had a way better shot. Uh, Stidham with that one turnover pretty much cost him the game, as you alluded to. Sean Payton and a lot of his decision making can be questionable. The kicker missed 3 kicks, but I mean, you kicking in a blizzard. What do you expect?
Well,
The
their kicker only missed one. There were a total of three missed kicks, but the Broncos kicker only missed one field goal. And that's what I'm saying. I could understand you saying that the better team won, but without those crucial mistakes, that's two turnovers by Stidham, the late interception and the fumble. That's it. I mean, that's the decision in a game that you only lost by three. The total score being 10-7. That's
well,
it. You
Will
just can't.
Will Lutz missed two. Denver missed 2 field goals.
Oh, so he missed two.
He missed it. Remember, they tried like a
Well,
62 yarder, and then he missed
right.
that one that got
Right
blocked.
before half, they tried one, and then he missed another one that it got tipped,
Yeah,
and then the Patriots field goal kicker missed one. So
missed
three
one.
total missed kicks. Yes, no doubt about it. But again, when you say if Bo Nix was going to be there, and I agreed when you texted and said that the Broncos still didn't stand a chance, the Patriots only scored 10 points, man.
Yeah,
So
and
when you
I
say they
would
didn't
say
stand a
that based
chance,
on
then the
weather,
Patriots
but
didn't do
that's
anything
also
either.
where we come back, and like I was saying before, y'all jumped all down C.J. Stroud, and now you got to give credit to Drake May because he found a way to win the game. Um, but Drake May ain't looked good since the playoffs started.
Drake May, Vaughn, did not turn the ball over at all on Sunday. And you saying that we jumped all on CJ Stroud. Did you watch that game CJ Stroud played?
I
He
did, and
gave
I
away
but I
three,
seen
he
the
gave
other
it
side
away.
too. And
What other
I said
side?
Drake May, who had I think 3 touchdowns that game. Two of them came based off of his wide receiver. Like Booty made the one hand catch, and then Stephon Diggs caught one and got smashed. It was two great catches for 2 touchdowns. I said that was the difference between Houston. I seen Houston drop a lot of passes. Not saying that C.J. Stroud decision making was any better, but my point was Drake May didn't play well either. He turned the ball over 3 times that same game.
Drake May threw touchdowns. Drake made to your booty, made and played that only his guy can catch it with the one hand. Drake made to Stephon Diggs, hit a slant route in double coverage, but only his guy can get it. He made plays, and I understand when you're talking about inclement weather, but CJ Stroud made rookie high school mistakes with his turnovers. That's all
But
I'm talking about.
I don't
He
consider
threw the ball
those
to
rookie
the.
mistakes though.
You don't?
No. It's
Oh,
inclement
okay.
weather the same way that you don't. I don't consider those rookie mistakes. I don't. I said that he didn't have necessarily the weapons. You expecting C.J. Stroud to be Superman against elite defense?
No, I'm expecting CJ Stroud to do what Davis Mills did when he was the starter for 4 games. Don't turn the ball over and play game management. That's what I'm expecting. Vaughn, real quick, you caught a first down boot waggle with CJ Stroud, and instead of eating it and living to see second down, he throws a balloon up there, and you know you got to throw it away. In the second half, you call a first down go route on both sides instead of them play. They played double coverage instead of him pulling it down and hitting the check down. He threw it right into double coverage. Those are the things I'm talking about. And he also threw a pick six. Those are the things I'm talking about. Not the fact that it wasn't inclement weather and not the fact that Drake May didn't play well. CJ Stroud was the guy, not Drake May, that had playoff experience for 3 straight years. He's the guy that was won Rookie of the Year, not Drake May. So I expected CJ Stroud for decision making to play a little better. That's all I'm talking about. Let alone the inclement weather. He made some real terrible, like first year type of quarterback decisions.
But I think in inclement weather, it don't matter what year you are because you ain't getting much productivity out of your quarterback other than hey, let's make sure we not turning the ball over, which is
Right.
obviously on him.
That's right. That's
But
all
that
I'm
was on
talking
both.
about.
That was on both ends. Then that's the one thing Drake May did not do, turn the ball over, and he had about two runs that was good the whole game that helped. But again, the Patriots' biggest player was their defense and what is his name, Stidham, because
Right.
without that turnover, the Patriots didn't show much. They're very fortunate to be in the Super Bowl, which they should. I mean, that defense has been playing all playoffs long and keeping them in there. So
I just would be very careful if I said that they were very fortunate when the New England Patriots, they were the number 2 seed. And it was just a tiebreaker that they lost early in the season to, I think, Pittsburgh or maybe New Orleans. They lost game one that came back and haunt them, or the game would have been in Foxborough. But it wasn't like they were the seventh or sixth seed. They were up there the entire season playing outstanding ball, having a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. I want to say this real quick to you, Vaughn. There are what you call forced turnovers and not forced turnovers. Drake May, when they played the Houston Texans, those script sacks, those were forced fumbles. Those are going after when you ripping them a defensive end, and now you forcing the ball in inclement weather. That's you don't want that, but that happens as opposed to unforced turnovers. What C.J. Stroud was doing. That's my difference. Unforced and forced. Those fumbles were knocked out of his hand by a defender. C.J. Stroud threw the ball to the other. That's all I'm talking about. A little bit of difference there, but I look at it and I say that Denver Broncos, great season. Denver Broncos, I don't look at that under the circumstance or what happened with their starter and then having a backup only played in 2 years, a snap, threw a football in 2 years. You got to say, hey, man, job well done. We didn't finish the drill as far as going to the Super Bowl, but we pretty much maxed out where we can go with the backup quarterback against a defense like the Patriots.
And playing in that weather. Like I said, I
And
think
playing in that weather,
I
yes.
I disagree with Kurt Warner saying that they should be playing at, like, all playoff games should be in the dome,
He
or
didn't say
no,
it, but
not
he
not
alluded
saying
to,
that,
yeah,
but that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
you saying. So at that point, Green Bay loses whatever home field advantage they would have. Chicago loses whatever home field. If Buffalo was playing in the playoffs, they wouldn't be crying and saying that, oh, Josh Allen is playing at home. So it's like we can't pick and choose the weather. That's a
No,
part of football. It's
that's right.
it's, it's
I think he
not.
was saying it as a frustrated football guy, and I think he was saying it also as a
I
quarterback
was about to say
that he
maybe as
want
a
more
quarterback.
points, he want more execution, and it was hard to get that done in weather like that. But that is what it is. He would say right now that it's about football, but I could understand that if you're not a defensive guy, and remember too now, Vaughn, even if that hadn't been great weather, those were two top five defenses. So those
Right.
defenses were
So
going to come to play
yeah.
regardless. So it was going to be a great physical, knock it out, drag out type of game.
But to give credit to Mace, from It Is What It Is, Mace said, that's the difference between football and basketball. People look forward to seeing, as a fan, you look forward to seeing players play in the snow in all inclement
Mm,
weather. We look to see who mentally tough enough to be able to play and who blowing it. Tom Brady. And so much. Now, obviously, when he was in Tampa, he didn't have to, but he wasn't in Tampa long. But to go out there in any weather, or even you think about Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, that's what make it football rather than basketball. You always gonna be in the best environment. What you talk?
right,
Crowd noise? No, but you got to worry about rain. You got to worry about if it's cold. If it's hot, everybody want to play in the warm. But I
that's
don't
right,
see, being that both of the teams was coming from blizzards. It's not like they was playing Miami to where it didn't suit Denver, and that's why Denver want to have home field advantage. So that just a thought, because I had been seeing that circulating on other platforms as well, and some people agree. And it's like, no, I would rather see both teams playing in a dome or whatever the case may be. But then it's like, again, we just seen Chicago have a great NFC divisional round against the Rams, and that's in the cold. Like we got to keep football. You make any more changes, it's gonna be looking like the NBA, and we don't feel like the NBA is what it used to be in regards to the physicality and just the rule changes, hand checking and things like that. So let's keep it, like, if they playing outside and they earn the right, like you said, it ain't like Denver was a 7 seed; they was the number one
right,
seed. So
right.
everybody knew what it was gonna be. But
But even to Mason's point, though, and I agree. But again, he said the fans and what we want to watch. No, we don't want to watch that. I mean, we want to watch guys in the snow, inclement weather, definitely with a snow flurry, because that's what football is all about, so to speak. But there's not a player that would agree that I would want to play in that. That's the whole thing. Yeah, the fans would want to watch that, and it's entertaining for the fans. But you ask any quarterback from Caleb Williams to Matthew Stafford to Stidham and Drake May, they would rather have the weather that's going to be in Santa Clara in 2 weeks at the Super Bowl than to play in any snow when it's 12 degrees,
but
because they know execution is not going to be where they want it to be. And they're going to know also that we can't practice in that. That's the whole thing. That blizzard wasn't there in Denver 2 days before while they were practicing. That blizzard wasn't there in the Northeastern Patriots while they were getting ready for that game. It's one thing if you practice in the blizzard all week and you know how to adapt that way. But all of a sudden, because you remember now, they did a good job on the broadcast that they showed the first play of the game, beautiful skies, about 24 degrees. And then in the third quarter, they showed a whole different thing the way it switched right away.
yeah,
It's
they
hard to
said it was
prepare for
coming.
that. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to prepare for it, but that's why you got to be mentally tough to whatever. Like, I don't care what the weather is. We going out here and we gonna get a victory. If we looking back at a lot of the games, memorial games and games that's over time that stood the test of time, most of those was in inclement weather. You talking about Brady first AFC championship? What was it when they did the tuck rule? Was that
Uh-huh.
against the Raiders? Even if you
Right.
going back to Kansas City versus Buffalo in that great game where all them points were scored. That was in snow. That was a snow game. They pushed it out across the field, but the weather wasn't nice. You can go back to Tom Brady against the Chiefs in that last AFC Championship where they called that offsides and they did that penalty. That was bad weather in Kansas City. That first home game against Kansas City. So I just always believe that those are the games, the frozen tundra of Green Bay. Those the ones that really get remembered, not necessarily games that's just in the dome and you be like, okay, this was great weather. You don't remember all those games. You remember the games that's the forecast is a bit frigid. It's not ideal for nobody, but this is football. We still out there as professionals handling business.
I like it. I love it.
Now, discussing on the NFC side, and I know many was going for the Rams. Myself, I was thinking this Matthew Stafford was gonna find a way to do it, but we got Seattle. Seattle Seahawks has found a way back. And Joe, I remember vividly you were saying that Seattle was the real deal. Their defense was the real deal. They found a way to win and to get a stop 31-27 to become our NFC conference champions. What are you thinking in regards to the Seahawks versus the Rams game that we just witnessed?
Um, Way to make me a believer, Sam Darnold.
Oh yeah.
Because even though that I said that Seattle and they have a really good defense and they won the NFC West and they were the overall number one seed that put together a pretty solid, excellent season, I still didn't believe that Sam Darnold could finish it. I still didn't believe that he can play up to par all the way through. Even when you're looking back at the two games they played in the regular season against the Rams, he had a few turnovers. Even that point where they went for it for two and they won the last meeting in the regular season against the Rams, I still didn't believe. So he made me a believer yesterday. He made me a believer with the decision making. He made me a believer with his ability to go downfield and make pinpoint accuracy throws. And later on in that game, he did a lot with his legs as well. So Sam Darnold wasn't the Seahawks didn't win despite of Sam Darnold. They won because Sam Darnold made a lot of plays. And that's what I like about what the Seahawks are doing. And that's what I like about what the Patriots are doing. Anything can happen now. Anything can happen. And I know Seahawks, they have a championship pedigree. They're a one-time Super Bowl champ. And we know about the Patriots being six-time Super Bowl champ. But look at the last 2 years. The Patriots won 8 games in 2 years, and here they are right there on the brink of winning a championship. The Seattle Seahawks just had their new head coach, Mike McDonald. This is just his second year, and they're in the Super Bowl. So there are no excuses about how fast or how quick can you turn a team around or a program around. You just have to have the right hire, and you have to get the right pieces. And I wouldn't even go and say you have to have the right quarterback or a franchise quarterback. Because while Sam Darnold is leading those guys and he is the quarterback of Seattle, I don't look at him as a franchise quarterback. He's up and coming. Maybe he could turn that around. But I don't look at him as a guy that said, put this team on my back and I can carry you to the promised land. And again, Vaughn, situational football. And when I say situational football, third down, uh, special teams, because that was the change and that was the momentum changing play when the punt returner from the Los Angeles Rams muffed the punt. And
Mm-hmm.
then 2 plays later, or maybe the next play, Seattle scored to go up 2 scores. That's where, the Rams were playing from behind the entire game or the entire second half. And they weren't able to succeed. When you talk about Seattle stopped the Rams when they were down there on the goal line and fourth and about 3 from the 6 yard line. That was situational football. Third down, and then again stop them on fourth down. That's what you don't look at when you look at the box score. And I'm talking about a well played game. Yeah, there were some turnovers. Matter of fact, Malik Wooten almost was the GOAT or the he almost had egg on his face for how he
The
acted and getting
blame,
that
yeah.
unsportsmanlike play. Yeah, or get that unsportsmanlike penalty on the sideline because a lot of people would say you have to hold that flag, Mr. Ref. You can't call that in a big game, but you have to call it. That's too blatant. That was not even on the field of play. You were on their sideline, and what they were trying to prevent there is a melee. You say the wrong thing to a guy, you don't know how he's taunting. You don't know how he's trash talking. You don't know what is said. He could be saying, let's go, and get fired up. Or he could be saying some derogatory things about talking about Guy's family, talking about Guy's sexuality. He could be saying all those type of things, and you don't want to have that happen. But shout out to Seattle too, because they overcame that and they galvanized as a whole team. But overall, that is what I was looking for. We had both games, 1-10-7, that went down to the fourth quarter, and 4-minute drill, situational football, to where the Patriots had it with under 2 minutes left or under 4 minutes left. And then you needed to run the ball and get one first down, and you win the game. Seattle, the same thing against the Rams. When the Rams when they got the ball back, they needed 2 or 3 first downs to make sure the Rams didn't get the ball again, and they were able to kneel it out. That's good situational football, and I think both teams earned their right to be there. And shout out to them, because that's what I love. Because you go back at it, Vaughn, you and I followed the college football season this year, and we followed the NFL this year. I don't know what's more improbable, that the Indiana Hoosiers this year, now that their history, this year that the Indiana Hoosiers won the national championship, or that the Seahawks are matching up against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know the history of the Patriots, and I know Seattle have won one, but going into the season, we definitely would have picked the Patriots with a new head coach in Vrabel, with a second-year quarterback in Drake May, going to the Super Bowl. Job well done.
Right, rightfully so. But I think still probably Indiana would be. Nobody would think Indiana would turn things around. Two things that you said, and talking about Sam Darnold. Just to go back on and talk about how teams gave up on him. One,
Right.
Sam Darnold won 14 games last year in the regular season. So, it's time to
And
start
nobody
putting.
believed in him coming into this season because how he ended last season.
Right, right. But it's not many times where he had those expectations to even win a playoff game because he didn't find himself in those situations. Now, second year on a new squad, a whole new squad, 14 games again. It's time to you can't put him in the same breath as Kirk Cousins or a lot of these other folks. It's time to put some real respect on his name. And like you said, he won a shootout with
Yeah.
he outgunned Matthew Stafford.
For the second time this season, he
And
sure did.
shout out to JSN, and then on the other
Mm.
side, Puka Nakua. I mean, it was a great game to see. I'm surprised in the fourth quarter it was a shutout. Seattle led majority of this game. Honestly, if you look in here, it looks like the Rams only led for about 30 seconds of the entire
Yeah,
game.
yeah, I think at 13-10. I think at 13-10, right
13-10, and
before the
then right before the half, Seattle
yes,
had scored,
yes.
and it was 17-13, and they didn't
That's
lead. I
it.
mean, they led the rest of the game. So shout
Yeah.
out to that defense. You had said that they were, one of the top defenses. But this is where I go back to when we just was talking about C.J. Stroud and folks is talking about moving on from him. You can look at Sam Darnold, and you can see CJ. Obviously, you got different teams. You get different weapons around, and Seahawks is really strong on the run. But of course, they got JSN, and they even got Cooper Kupp at wide receiver. You get them some weapons, they might look like a completely different quarterback. Now, if Houston is ready to move on from CJ Stroud, just look around, because again, it's a lot of quarterbacks in this league. Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, that ain't really won no games and ain't won nothing. CJ Stroud got the same amount of playoff wins as Lamar Jackson. So I would just say everybody need to pump their brakes. I know the expectations is CJ Stroud shouldn't be making rookie mistakes, or he
He
should have
regressed,
learned.
Vaughn.
Huh?
He regressed.
Yeah, but we don't say that. We don't hold those same standards of saying somebody regressed based on how they might have played this year. But then when we get in the playoffs, and year after year, when either Lamar Jackson get knocked out and he might win MVP, or you have Josh Allen get knocked out and he might win MVP. We don't say nothing about he
Yeah,
regressed.
it's
We just
different.
say,
It's
oh
different,
well, we got to get him some more help.
Vaughn is different. It's different when C.J. Stroud did the same thing back to back weeks. It's different. You see it a little bit different, and you're correct
But
about what you're
one was in
saying.
Pittsburgh,
Okay, and
and then the
then
other one
one
was
was
in
in.
New England in the tundra too.
Yeah, but I understand. So you sound like you're making excuses for him. I mean,
No, by all
the
means,
decision he
I'm
was
just saying
making though.
if
I'm
you
just
want to
talking about the
move,
decisions.
I'm just saying if
But
you
no,
want to move from
no, I
C.J.
don't want to
Stroud,
move
look
on
at
from
the
him.
field. Look at the field and
Well,
see
check this
who
out.
else you gonna choose.
I'll say this to you, coming from his head coach. And he said he had just had an exit meeting on last Tuesday with C.J. Stroud that Tuesday after they lost on Sunday. He said he had a long talk with C.J. Stroud that he got to mentally get more tougher to thinking that I have a defense that I don't have to make all the plays. That I don't have to make every play a touchdown play. I don't have to make every play a game saving play because he said it's different that you playing that you have to throw for 300 yards and three touchdowns every game as opposed to just handle your business. Don't turn it over and let your defense jog out there. That's all we're saying. That's all I was saying about C.J. Stroud. It really shocked me with back-to-back weeks what he put together. Those two games and some of the decisions, at least 10 decisions, were made. Now you can say cold, but was unforced errors, crucial unforced errors. That's all. And when you look at it, Sam Darnold, he didn't win a playoff game last year. And he won two this year, so he's got three overall. I have to put more respect on his name, especially if he goes to win the Lombardi Trophy and hold up the Super Bowl, let alone get Super Bowl MVP. But that's about it. I can't go back and say all the things that you put on film. We can disregard that. He's turned it around, somewhat like Baker Mayfield. He's turned it
We
around. He's turned
Baker
it way around
Mayfield
from
ain't
being
turned it
Cleveland.
around as he hasn't
I'm
took
talking
his
about from
team
the
to
play
an
he's been
NFC
playing, what he
championship.
put on film early. What he put on film early, and then remember, Baker Mayfield went to Panthers, Carolina, and he
Right?
went to the Rams. He went somewhere else for what he was doing as a number one overall pick. That's what I'm saying. He turned it around. Not to say he won a championship, but his play got turned around.
He got a
He
bit
got
better, but only for them not to make the playoffs.
well, no, he got much better. What are you talking about?
No, I'm
He
saying
got much
it
better.
got better, but they started off what 6-0.
No, yeah, you're right. This season, I'm just talking about how you look at Liam Cohn in Jacksonville. He got a head coaching job because of Baker Mayfield. Dave Canales and Panthers, that's two straight years other than this year that Baker Mayfield lost his offensive coordinator to head coaching spots. So yeah, he didn't perform down the stretch. The team didn't perform down the stretch as far as winning games. But I saw a total different Baker Mayfield the last 3 years than the prior 3 years. That's all I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean he didn't finish the drill this year, but that's all I'm saying. Check this out. So I have to ask you a question. What I thought about. What career would you rather have now because these four guys I'm about to mention, they have one thing in common: Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson,
Lamar Jackson,
and Baker Mayfield.
Lamar Jackson.
And they have in common they all got drafted the same year, 2018. So now you look at it, they all got drafted in the same class. Baker Mayfield went one, Sam Darnold went three, Josh Allen went seven, and then Lamar Jackson went 32nd. And then we're not going to talk about the number 10th pick is Josh Rosen out of UCLA that, I mean, it was a total bust. But here it is, out of all those names, you see Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, and I don't disagree with you. I would say he's the better quarterback of that group. But here's the second or third overall pick. He's the one that going to the Super Bowl.
He the
He's the
first
one
one to
that's
go to
sitting
the
there
Super
and
Bowl.
getting
Yeah.
ready. He's the one getting ready to probably, if they go ahead and finish the job, he might win the Super Bowl MVP. Then that whole narrative changes right away. Yes, he doesn't have an MVP, and it goes back to what Cam Newton said about a year and a half ago with the MVP as opposed to having an MVP on your resume or having a Super Bowl on your resume as a quarterback. I disagreed with Cam when he said it. He said I would rather have my MVP, and I said no, 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 no. Let me be. I'll be the guy that have that Super Bowl trophy that led that team to Super Bowl, and you can have your MVP. So it's to each his own. A lot of
But
people might
Lamar Jackson
disagree.
got two MVPs. So
Well, no
that's why
Super
you're
Bowls
not
though.
saying Josh Allen or Sam Donald or Sam Darnold. those are more so comparison in the Cam Newton discussion. We're not talking about a multiple MVP winner. That's I think Lamar Jackson, like I said before, similar to Michael Vick, it's transcended the league. I don't think Josh Allen is the same way. Just like right now, it seems like they trying, not even trying. Um, like I said, May has done a great job in the regular season. His team is making the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, both teams in the Super Bowl deserve all the credit. But you better believe they looking for some new blood that they can put as the new face of the league. You know, that's gonna be associated with winning that can possibly have a dynasty like, or you know, at least some runs, some playoff runs in the future. Because you can't count on Joe Burrow.
That's more sexier though to have somebody that's you can count on every year that's going to be there. So they probably look at somebody that they can count on, and they're looking to somebody who's going to be there at the end. Yeah, I
But that's what
mean
I'm
we
saying.
can't.
We can't, the AFC this year, and this is why we were saying Lamar and Josh Allen, this was their times because Patty Mahomes was out of there. You
Yeah,
can't count on Joe Burrow. He gets hurt. But
right,
obviously, you know, you would think Joe Burrow. You can't count on Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. You can't count
right,
on Josh Allen in the playoffs. So,
right.
yes, somebody like Drake May that's only been in the league 2 years now making it to the Super Bowl, they would love to put him as, okay, we going to put you in the forefront, especially while Mahomes is down right now and recovering.
Well,
However,
it's not a reach though. It's not a reach to do that with Drake May. And the reason why I'm saying it's not a reach because this guy is the second youngest guy to ever make it to the Super Bowl beyond Dan Marino, 23 years old. This guy, if everything works out the way I think it's going to work out, and it might surprise me if he wins it, but he's going to be second in the MVP voting behind Matthew Stafford. So they're not just pushing him to the forefront. It's on paper what he's done. I mean, he's made us some strides to where now he's going to be second in the MVP voting. And if they win, probably the quarterback is going to get MVP. Now you can put Super Bowl MVP on his resume. That's just something you're right. That is something they would be looking for because all the years they have coming. If Josh McDaniel stays at OC, if Mike Vrabel's still there as a head coach, you're going to think from now going forward, it's going to be a matchup with Drake May and those other quarterbacks you mentioned, including Patrick Mahomes, who I think still is the face.
pump your brakes. I wouldn't even put Drake May. That's what I'm saying. Drake,
Why? Why?
why would I?
Uh, well, I mean, why would you what? Put him as the
Because I done
face?
seen his last two performances, and it's nothing that shows me. And again, he's winning. So if he win the Super Bowl, I just have to be quiet. But even with him winning the Super Bowl, I'm not putting him up against Patrick Mahomes, who's consistently in it. I'm not putting him. I'm not putting him on the level of Lamar Jackson,
Okay,
and
well, I
possibly
mean,
I'm not
you just
even
hold
putting
it on
him on
now.
the level of Josh Allen because one good season don't would not erase history of somebody carrying their team. And you wouldn't say that
History,
he's
but
been carrying the team. You would say the defense has been dominating in these inclement weather games.
well, in the equipment weather games, yeah, he's had 3 games. In this last year, I mean, this last game, he was the leading rusher in this last game. I mean, he was the leading rusher.
He was
So
the
you can't
leading
take that away
rusher
from
with
him.
like 50 yards. He
I
had
think he had
two big runs. He had the
he had
bootleg, which was
65,
huge, and then he
and
had the quarterback draw, which they
and
had.
that's huge in a touchdown. That's huge from a quarterback. What are you talking about? 65 yards? That's huge. So you said inclement weather, and you don't want to give him that credit, but yes,
I'm just looking.
he took this team.
I'm used
He
to.
took this team
He took the team where?
to the record of the number 2 seed. He took that team there. The dude had 40 something total
Well then,
touchdowns.
like I said, sometimes it's a little bit of luck that transpires as well. And I again, because I would have picked it out of the AFC, the Patriots anyhow, just because I didn't see nobody else too much in the AFC that could have done anything. I was hoping that Josh Allen would have got over the hump. Lamar Jackson wasn't in the way. Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the way. So we knew it was going to be somebody, either a new or a franchise that was rebuilding or some new blood that come out of here and get to the Super Bowl. We knew that because it's been a crazy year all season. However, I just can't act like now the age could certainly be a thing, just like you said, him being 24, not making many mistakes, at least last game. But other than Stidham even turning that ball over, Stidham played just as good as Drake May played last game.
See, Vaughn, you can't do that though. I see what
And
you're
I
trying to
watched
do,
the
but
game. I'm sitting there
no,
about to fall asleep
yeah,
because
yeah, but
neither
you
team
can't.
was doing anything offensively.
I hear and I see what you're trying to do. You just can't do that. You just can't say what you just said outside of the two turnovers. They were huge. So you
Outside of
can't
who, two
say
turnovers?
Stidham. You said they played the same game. You said outside of the turnovers from
Outside of the
Stidham.
intercept. I mean that fumble was just idiotic.
Yeah, so I mean outside so he
Well,
turned the ball
really,
over two
it was
times.
the fumble, the interception. I don't give him. I mean, it was no issue in regards to that. He trying to make a play.
Yeah, but
Gonzalez,
he
one
threw
of
it
the
in the
top
double
corners.
coverage, man. He threw it in the double coverage on second down when you needed a field goal. That's all. But that's neither here nor there. But Vaughn, you cannot say outside of two turnovers that they played the same game. Two turnovers are huge. It's huge.
That's huge, but I can't act like Drake May played a great. Again, I'm used to
Nobody
seeing.
said
I'm
great.
used to
Nobody
seeing
said
Tom
great.
Brady because now you say you throwing them in these conversations with the greats. That's gonna have spectacular performances
No, no, no,
in
no, no,
those
no,
inclement
no.
weathers. We
No,
talking
no, no.
about
What
Patty
great?
Mahomes. You just said I wouldn't move Patty Mahomes yet. Yeah, and I
Nope.
wouldn't.
That's all. That's it. I
So
didn't say anything
I
about
wouldn't.
Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson because again, we are talking about if he finish this off. If Drake May goes and without you knowing what the season is going to happen or what kind of season is going to be next year, if Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens or Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills run up against the Patriots next year with Drake May, and Drake May is a Super Bowl MVP and a champion, why when you put Drake
I
May,
don't
say why
think.
would you think they might beat them?
I don't think that they're running scared of Drake May.
Nobody's going. Nobody. Hold on.
People are
Newsflash.
running scared. Was
News.
running scared
News.
of Lamar
News.
Jackson, and they was
News.
running scared of Josh Allen MVP
Newsflash.
seasons.
Nobody. Newsflash, man. Nobody in the NFL is running scared from anybody.
Man, you
I watched
worry.
it.
You have nightmares in regards to those players because of what they can and cannot do.
I
Now, of course,
watched.
the in division Pittsburgh ain't running scared because they see them twice a year. I ain't even gonna mention the Bengals or the Browns because there's no need. But my point is, yes, he
I'll give you an
gives the
example. I'll
same
give you an
way that
example.
Mike Vick used to give fits to other teams.
Yeah, yeah. Fitz not running scared. I'll give you an example. I'm glad you brought that up. My teammates with Tampa were looking forward to playing Mike Vick. And he had some of his worst games against the Bucks because they wanted him to sit back and read the defenses, read the defense, and they knew that without the electric play, he wasn't going to beat him. I also played on a teammate that they played Barry Sanders 3 or 4 times. We played Marshall Faulk. They respected him, but not fearing. I'm also from the team that played a team that they played Randy Moss twice a year, and that's the most scariest person as a DB you want to ever fear or ever face. But ain't nobody running scared. You just going out there and playing. And my point is, when it comes down to next year, you don't have to be red and scared, but you have to be careful that Drake May can beat you in a quarterback draw. Drake May can beat you with his legs. And Drake May can beat you deep down the field. He showed us that in the playoffs and in the regular season. That's it. And going up against, if it's true, Vaughn, if this guy wins, or that team wins this Super Bowl, and he's the MVP, what what makes you not think that? Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'll leave it with. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to be better, and Andy Reid's going to bounce back. But what would have you say that they're not going to be the second favorite to repeat behind Kansas City?
Oh, the game's
And
got to
part
be
of that's going to
played.
be because they caught a quarterback coming back in Drake May.
Well, as long as they got that defense, which I think deserves majority of the credit, the defense, then the Patriots gonna be all right. You can sub whoever you want. Again, with 86 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, you can put anybody in there to get that done as long as you know 5 sacks, which again it was bad weather. But I just got to see more. Our expectations are different when we talking about quarterback play. But the goal is to get
Yeah,
the
you want
job
to see
done.
spectacular. You
Not
want to
even
see.
spectacular. I just need to see
Yeah,
100
I
yards
just want to see
passing or
them
something.
win.
Huh?
That I give good. See, that's a little bit different from where you're coming from, and I understand where you're coming from. I think that was an outstanding game Drake May played. When the fact that that inclement weather, you didn't turn the ball over, you led the team in rushing, and your team won. That's outstanding for me.
Well, he
I
didn't
mean,
lead the team in
because again,
rushing.
you're not going to have a good completion percentage, and you're
Stevenson
not going
had
to throw the ball
71
that
yards
much.
rushing. He didn't lead the
Huh?
team in rushing. Stevenson
He
had
did it,
71 yards rushing, but he was
and
right
what he
behind
had,
him with
65.
65. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
thinking Henderson. I didn't see him get many carries. I thought
no,
was he
he. I don't
hurt?
think he had 10 yards.
He had only three carries, 5 yards.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah, he.
nevertheless, tomatoes. They going to the Super Bowl, and at the end of the day, we gonna get to see against that Seattle defense what Dre May is made of, and vice versa. We get to see what Sam Darnold is made of against that New England defense, and we got 2 weeks before we really deep
Well, I already
dive
know what Drake May is made of,
into
man.
the well
I think
you
this.
know better than I, because I only
I
gonna
think
watch
this.
these playoffs,
I
and
think
I
this is
haven't
a.
been you watched all throughout the season again, but when it matters most, I'm paying attention, and I'm just seeing, and I haven't
You
seen New England offense look that it's no guarantee that they coming out of this Super Bowl victorious.
who did New England play first?
They just
I
played
know who they
C.J.
played.
Stroud.
No,
No.
who
They
did.
played. They played the
So so
Chargers in the
yeah.
16-3.
So there you go, Vaughn. And if you want to go ahead and take some credit away from Drake May, I'll let you do that. But they played three of the top five teams, National Football defenses on his run. And you're the same guy. Three of the top five defenses in Houston, the Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. And you're the guy just said last week to me when we were talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and compare. You said either you get it done or you don't.
No, and
That's
that's
what
why
you
I said
said.
if he
So
wins it,
Drake May's getting it done.
absolutely,
That's it
he getting
then.
it done. But I just said don't try and catapult him to talking about him and Patrick Mahomes. It shouldn't even be in the
No, no,
same
you no,
sentence.
no, no. I told you Patrick Mahomes staying there, but I also would tell you right now, Josh Allen's gonna have to take a back seat if this guy comes on the scene at 23 years old and he's got an MVP in a Super Bowl
Oh yeah,
already.
they already looking to try and replace him. That's how the NBA. I mean, that's how the NFL will do you,
Trying to
Josh
replace
Allen.
who? Josh Allen ain't there to be replaced. Who's there to be replaced is Patrick Mahomes.
You
Even Lamar
can't
Jackson's not reported.
you
I
can't
mean,
replace a champion. Now he's out because of injury. It's no other reason. Josh
no, they
Allen.
weren't making the playoffs, man.
No,
They,
I
they
know
were
they
not making
wasn't
the.
making the playoffs, but still he got too many under his belt for you to just act like, oh, 1 year not making the playoffs means he gonna be replaced. When Josh Allen, all they got is an MVP, and like you said, Drake May is already a MVP second right now, or might win MVP. So just
Well,
as if he won MVP, he already gonna replace him.
not Patrick Mahomes.
Not Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, he
No,
shouldn't even be mentioned with Patrick Mahomes. That's like mentioning
no.
Brady and mentioning Drake May. Shouldn't be
No.
happening unless we talking about young quarterbacks to lead their team to a championship and revive them. I can see the comparisons there. But we got to put some respect on legendary type stuff and new hotness. Right now, what we was talking about, the superstars, the levels of superstardom, I think he's obviously all-star looking to make his way into superstar. Drake May
That's
is.
exactly where he's at.
You know,
Yes.
he
Yes.
passed the 15 minutes of fame. He's an
Yes.
all-star moving to superstar. And you
Yes.
know, if he can close the deal, he gonna be there and
Yes.
they gonna catapult him
Yes.
there. But he ain't legendary. We not gonna
No.
take it that far.
No, but again, is Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, are they superstars?
They superstars for sure.
Thank you. I think so as
Like
well.
that's